So recently, I went to buy a Gartel. For those who don't know, Gartels are what Frumies wear around their coats when they daven. It's those long black strings. You know why? Because there's nothing a lot more embarrassing than getting caught with your pants down in the middle of a midah. But no, that actually sounded better in my head. But anyway, so I'm in the store and I'm looking to buy a Gartel, and there's like 6 different sizes for the Gartel. All right, the Gartels range from size 8 feet to the length of Chile. All right, I don't know if there's anyone in history ever walked out of a Judaica store fitting room with a Gartel in hand and says, "No, that one was a little bit too snug for me." And then he looks over to like the basket. He's like, "I'm gonna go with the one that says Ring Around Saturn." Like, I'm not a marketing genius, but I think like a nutritionist should just drop a few pamphlets around those Gartel baskets. And then after I bought my Gartel, I went to get a kapata, right? The kapata is those long black coats. And I walk in and I find one that, I guess fits me. And then before I leave, the guy gingerly hands me a Ziploc bag with 12 spare buttons. I didn't know what to make of it. Like, is that some sort of subliminal messaging in there? I don't know. Is it generic that they give these extra buttons from experience? Or maybe they saw me come in and the guy whispers to the cashier, he's like, "Throw a few extra in there, Just trust me on this one." and then I came with the package, so I don't want to waste money. I want to get my money's worth, so I'm making sure that I'm growing into those extra buttons, of course. But anyways, last week we celebrated Pesach Sheni. And, Pesach Sheni is the classic message that it's never, ever too late. There's always time for a second chance, which makes me wonder, if it was a second Hanukkah or a second Purim, I'd be okay with that. The rabbis come to me a month after Hanukkah. They're like, "Okay, we want to give you a special Jewish message. It's never too late. You're going to have to celebrate 8 days of Hanukkah again. You're going to have to light candles for 8 days. I know it's a little annoying, but you're going to think of the goods. You're going to get presents every day. You get a bunch of trips. You get your Hanukkah gelt. You get jelly donuts and latkes. It's okay. I'm fine with that." Or Purim. It's an extra day of Purim. It's never too late. You always have a second chance to catch up on your mistakes. You're going to get drunk again. You're going to have parties. You're going to have to listen to Megillah for 30 minutes, but it's worth it, right? I would be totally okay with that. But the rabbis are like, no. Pesach, after we eat matzah, a month later, the rabbis gingerly walk up. They're like, "What should we do now? It's been a month after Pesach. Hey, well, why not? Let's make Jews eat matzah for a second time." Which, by the way, we're in the middle of Sfiras Omer. Do you know the real reason why we count 7 weeks of Omer? We do that because that's the average amount of time it takes to recover from eating matzah. Shlomi, I heard you. We haven't seen him recently. He's been out with an acute matzah trauma. He's out for 7 weeks, right? It's a legitimate sports injury. So... Now, again, with Pesach, if the rabbis would have come a month later and they're like, "Okay, guys, we want to tell you a message of a second chance, Pesach Sheni, we're all going to give you Afikoman gifts again, or we're all going to go on another Chol Hamoed trip," that's okay. I'm cool with that. But why matzah? The only part of Pesach that we're so traumatized from, they come in, they give us matzah. It's like, "Hey, it's never too late for constipation." And I'm like, "Okay, so I'll have the matzah. Can I at least have like a barbecue some meat, some lamb or something?" And they're like, no, that's too similar to temple times. The temple doesn't exist. I'm like, "Okay, maybe we can have some music, call some friends, make a party." No, Sfirat HaOmer, you can't have music. Just eat the matzah and suffer in silence, right? So, woo! Like friends, when you have friends over for a party, and then you're like, you finish the party and you as they're leaving, you're like, "Hey, that was great. Come back again anytime." So your friends like Hanukkah and Purim, like they're normal. You say come back anytime, they understand. They're like, "Yeah, we'll see you next year. Once a year is good." But Pesach, he's like that friend who, you tell him come back anytime. And a month later, he's like knocking at your door. And he's like, "Remember that time you told me to come back and hang out? Well, let's, And you're like, "Okay, I'll let you in this time. But this time, I'm sorry, I'm not doing what I did last time. Last time you made me kick out chametz. He was very offended. This time, you guys are going to have to learn to live together." So that's Pesach Sheni. And then again, also with Pesach Sheni, like it's marketing genius from the rabbis. I think like Purim and Pesach and probably all the holidays. It's just like after Purim, the rabbis got together and they're like, "Okay, we have an abundance of nash in our home and we got to sell these matzahs. So let's just make it forbidden to have any nash. You got to get rid of all of your nash. You got to get rid of all your chametz. Get ready for the whole summer stock, the whole summer line of foods and whatnot and Jewish items. So, and then Pesach comes and the rabbis are sitting there like, oh yeah, everyone has extra, like 30 pounds extra of matzah in their home. What are we going to do with that? We'll just make a religious holiday and force people and make them feel all guilty if they don't eat all the matzah. So that's a marketing genius. Like fashion companies, when it comes to the summer, they just are giving 50%, 70% off, to get ready for the summer line. You just have to make a religious holiday, which makes them feel all guilty if they don't do it. And then it's a given. It's so easy. Right? And then we just celebrated Lag Baomer. Lag Baomer is such a happy day. There's music, there's dancing, there's bonfires. It's one of my favorite days of the year. And then, of course, the story goes that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he was passing away, and his students were like all crying next to the bedside, and they were, Rabbi, don't go. And, he opens his eyes and he tells the students, guys, no, don't be sad, don't cry, be happy. Be happy. And there was the one guy in the back who took him seriously. He's like, yeah, Rabbi said, be happy. He's like the guy when your wife tells you, no, don't buy me a birthday present. It's just sitting here with you is so nice, He's the guy who didn't buy his wife the birthday present, right? So every day on the same yard site, he's like making like rave parties, calling his buddies, getting drunk, going crazy. Rabbi Shimon's like looking down from heaven. He's like, that's a little too much, I didn't mean that. But, anyways, but Lag Baomer is amazing because, Lag Baomer, we light bonfires, we shoot bows and arrows. It's basically just, explosions and weapons. That's Lag Baomer. It's the most macho holiday of all the other holidays. The only thing I'm expecting the rabbis to institute is that every Lag Baomer, we should all get a skull and crossbones tattoo on our shoulders. And, the skull because Rabbi Shimon was in a cave for 12 years. And the crossbone looks like an olive. And it's Kabbalah, I guess. But, when it comes to Lag Baomer, it's such a macho holiday. All the men are like, we all tell her, okay, we got this, honey. You take a day off. Go do something glittery. Go shopping. I got this. We're manning the barbecue. And from my experience, and of course my wife's experience more, when a man says he's manning the barbecue and he tells his wife to take the day off, that's when the wife wants to buckle down because she's not getting a day off. Like I tell her, okay, I got this. I'm doing the barbecue. I got the grill. I'm going to go get the coals. And next thing you know, my wife, I'm like, oh yeah, just before you leave, I just need a potato salad. I need some coleslaw. I need 2 dips. Get the sodas. Can you prepare the burgers, please? Right? So she's in the kitchen all day preparing for my barbecue that I'm getting the credit for. And all I end up doing is just flipping burgers and taking the credit. And everyone's like, Benny, nice barbecue, nice barbecue. Of course, the next morning when my wife is cleaning up after the mess we made, I'm like, yeah, hey, honey, we should do this again sometime, And she's like, yeah, anytime, Joey. Come back anytime. I'm like,